So when we're looking at the big innovations in the NFT space today, I think it's pretty safe to say we know what all the high points are. NFT gaming, the metaverse, allegedly, utilities. But there's one thing that almost everybody has missed, and it is a huge opportunity to both integrate NFTs into any business and drive mass adoption for NFTs and the wider blockchain across the world. And that opportunity is Fidgetal. So today, I'm going to tell you just what is happening to drive this change, why the big news isn't really big news and what the actual big news is, and how you can get ready to jump in as well. My name is Trent Kennelly. I'm a Web3 marketing strategist, and this is the best place for you to learn about Web3, NFTs, and how to market it all. So if that sounds good to you and you're excited, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to my channel if you're into it, comment to let me know what your business is, and we'll brainstorm implementing NFTs into it with your business just in the comments or in a chat or whatever. I would love to talk to you, and let's get started. All right, so what's happening right now? Well, in Dubai, a company named FastX has opened 2 physical locations to sell NFTs. They're calling these locations FT NFT shops. So here's what happens when you go into this shop. You walk into the store, you have a conversation with the staff, you get a salesperson to walk you through their collection, you make a choice, you buy it, and you leave, right? It's exactly like any other store experience. You walk in to buy shoes, you walk in to buy a car, you walk in to buy an NFT, right? You're looking through their collection, you're making purchasing decisions about the digital art that they have on offer. Now that sounds kind of interesting, right? I mean, there's a shop that sells NFTs. It's a real place you can walk into. Awesome. We've been waiting for that. But you might be wondering why that's a full video, right? I mean, that seems like kind of small news in a fast moving space. But the answer is actually not about the NFT shop at all. It has something to do with it. They've kind of made a proof of concept, but what's way more interesting here is the digital physical mix, that blend that they have actually performed on, that has been kind of a side piece to the conversation for a long time, and now it's coming into focus. And this is referred to as Fidgetal, so that's physical and digital, smash them together, you get Fidgetal, right? And you can watch this video to get a feel for Fidgetal and what it is more generally, how it works, etc. But for our purposes here, just understand that this shop, FTNFT, is probably the most raw representation of Fidgetal commerce. Nowhere else in the world is there a shop uniquely built to sell unique digital goods of any kind, let alone digital art. Yet, again, FTNFT is just a proof of concept. What's really cool is to think about where this could go from here. So let's pretend your business is a jewelry shop. You sell jewelry and someone comes in to sell you their diamond ring. So you, of course, buy back diamond rings so you can resell them. But there's a whole ritual that goes with that, right? You need to check the ring for quality. You need to inspect the diamond. You need to determine the origin. And none of these things are currently easy to do. It takes time to get that done. But if you make that same jewelry purchase Fidgetal, it suddenly changes the entire narrative, because if you can attach an NFT to that diamond, then a lot of that heavy lifting kind of goes away. You can remove some of those processes and just look at the NFT card, verify ownership, and move on. It's more secure, it's more transparent, and it is a better, faster experience for everyone. And what that ultimately means is that any physical product brand can get involved with NFTs and make better experiences for their customers. But that also raises a lot of questions, right? Because right now it can feel pretty complicated for a total newbie to come in and get involved in NFTs or the Web3 space. I mean, they need to understand how to pick a wallet, to create the wallet, to provide the public address and not the private address, to check all the holdings in your wallet, to be able to find the right proof and organize things. For someone who's already in that space, that's possible, right? But anybody who's not in that space, there's a huge learning curve and it can be a lot to get through. So at the end of the day, we're talking about 2 different things here. We're talking about updating systems and educating users. So let's talk about updating those systems first. Now, I'm not going to get into details of writing code, launching a smart contract, etc. What I really think is important to point out here is that you don't have to overhaul everything in your current setup to make this happen. Yeah, FTNFT is a beautiful store that specifically designed itself for NFT sales. But let's be honest, most people aren't ready to drop millions to redesign everything around this concept, right? Most people aren't going to do that. And I'm going to go ahead and say that you probably don't even need to. You're probably better off adapting your systems to add NFT functionality than you are to creating a whole system from scratch. And the great news here is that this is pretty easy to do. So I came across this site called realitems.io, and this is exactly what they do. They use the Polygon chain to create NFT credentials for items that you sell, which allows people to add these NFTs to their own wallets for any product that they buy from your store. So it's just there. And there are a lot of benefits to this. Yeah, your buyer can feel more secure in the process and have a much easier time showing authenticity and ownership. But even more than that, you get a lot of data, right? You can know product inventory across all your locations, build incentives into the purchase, allow for royalties for resale. Truly anything that can be done for other NFTs can be done here, and you can use your data to build the best possible NFT certificates for your users. Now, you're not getting into the specific data theft issues that you would be on something like, Facebook's issues and all of those data leak issues that we've had in the past. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying that on the aggregate, you can understand how these data flows work so that you can take better actions. But really, we can't say that it ends there, right? Because yeah, you have that infrastructure now. You've got everything built up so that people can take advantage of these NFTs, but there's still a mass adoption problem. How do we get people over this "it's too hard, just forget it" hurdle? You have to teach users how to do this. You need to build into your stores a culture of education. Show your sales associates how to set up wallets for people and get them started adding this calling card to their wallet, showing people why it's beneficial, etc. And by the way, getting users to take this completely free action that actually provides a benefit for them is going to drive mass adoption. I mean, we have a lot of people right now who still think that NFTs are a waste of time or completely a scam all the time, right? But that can go away if we start to show them that no, in fact, these are simply unique digital items. And walking people into this concept using digital product IDs for physical products is a big step toward getting people to have that understanding more generally, and this just becoming a normal part of everyday life. So all that sounds great, but one more big question here. The Dubai FT NFT is only going to attract a specific group of people, right? Those that are already interested in NFTs and want to buy them or at least gawk at them, right? But making this process make sense requires that we continue to build that mass adoption and get new audiences to become believers. So how do we do that? This is where we need to step outside of this insular community that we've created, and we need to tell people over and over about how this is where we're going and what those people can do to get involved in this space right now. What that really comes down to is clear messaging. Now, I've talked a lot about messaging in videos like this one, but let's be specific to this situation because we're asking people in many instances to make that cultural shift that I keep talking about, right? That means we're going to turn this process into one of the most interesting things the purchaser has ever heard. Practically, that means that we're going to focus on two things. So we're going to talk about the benefits and we're going to talk about simplification. So let's jump into simplification first. As I have already covered in this video, Web3 comes with a learning curve. We want to make that learning curve as smooth as possible. So the language needs to be simple and easy to take action on. If you're Home Depot, adding NFT certificates to big appliance purchases could simply be framed as better warranty assurance or something as simple as that people already understand. If you're Starbucks, then it could be a way to track rewards points on specific drink orders, get more granular, something people already understand. But the most important thing you can do is make it sound easy to get involved in. And if you need inspiration here, you can take a look at the mobile revolution. There was a time here when the use of mobile phones suddenly exploded, like right after the iPhone came out, and every company was seemingly pushing their own app, right? And the apps that were actually successful, they made it easy to integrate what people were already doing with their everyday life and what they could get out of this app, right? It was a very simple addition to what they were already doing. Simplicity was driving action, so make sure that you are as simple as possible when you're trying to explain this for your own business. And then let's talk about the benefits and features. So people simply aren't going to care about the features of your phygital goods. They don't care about a list of things it can do. They don't care about the fact that, for instance, it can be accessed on any device, but they do care if they can use it on their own mobile phone or their own device. They do care if your certificate is going to make it easier for them to get service on an appliance or allows the owner to earn royalties on resale or something like that. It's about making sure they understand what they're getting out of it, what they are receiving from using your device, from getting this certificate and using this NFT. It's not about a list of things that your product or service can do. So here's how to go about this. First, decide on the features of your NFT. I know I just pooped all over features, but features are important, right? They're the things it can do. Do you want a royalty or discounts for presenting the NFT, or I don't know, a free froyo? Those are the features that come with use. Now frame them so that the reader can see exactly what they're getting out of the purchase. Earn more every time your Nintendo Switch gets resold. Get buyback credits to your own favorite tunes, etc. Show them what they're getting, not what you have on offer. They need to understand this is a benefit to me. So I really love this idea, but again, I love it as a proof of concept. That said, it's relatively simple to set yourself up as a phygital business. The hard part is the education. So let me know what kind of business you're running. I would love to brainstorm possibilities with your phygital NFT launch. Otherwise, make sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel if you're into it, and I will catch you in the next one.